Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee, Freedom of Artistic Means of Expression. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you have been here before, well, welcome back. I've missed you. Thanks for stopping by. And this is a safe space. Just have to always say that. We don't do negativity here, hateration, holleration in this desert. Absolutely not. This is an environment that's all inclusive. I just want it to be a space of love and no negative Nellies, Nancy's, Neds, all that stuff, because it's not needed. There's other avenues that embrace that type of stuff, but here we talk about metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality, life, and everything that has to do with the beautiful chaos and complexity of the human experience here on Earth in this particular time space reality. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I know that right now it is New Year's Eve, and where I am, it's New Year's Eve, and I was inspired to make my last set of videos before the year ended, and I have to move on inspired action. So I was inspired to put on a face and all my glam rings today for my last video drop of the year. So this video, I don't want to make it too long. I know I say that all the time, but I want to talk about something that has been coming up a lot. Just in my reality and life in general, and just in average conversation, this idea of truth versus facts. And there are people who I know and who I've had conversations with, and probably a lot of people all around the world who have made the assumption that if something is labeled a fact, if something is factual, then it is automatically considered the truth. I personally disagree. That is my stance. I disagree with that. If you believe that to be true, bless. You are 100% entitled to your own beliefs. And I respect it, and I honor your beliefs 100%. But I disagree with that. And I'm going to explain why I disagree and why I think it is a huge misconception that because something is considered a fact, that it has to automatically be considered a truth, because there are a lot of facts out there, and many of them are not necessarily the truth, right? Conversely, I guess all of them would be considered true, right? To say that it is the truth, it's relative. And I'll explain why later on in the video. Facts. What is a fact? My interpretation, based on my research and my understanding of what a fact is when somebody takes a, what do you call it? There's a word for it. When someone takes a result, right? And they determine that because they did WXYZ, or because they mixed this with this, or because they did an experiment or a trial, or, they tested something, they tested a theory, they tested a concept, they did whatever, or because they had personal experiences, or they witnessed something, or they saw something, and whatever the case is, they took that, they wrote it down, typed it up, made it into a publication, put it in print, and sent it out to the world. So because it is in print, right, they have their experiments, they have all of their data to support how they arrived to the conclusions that they have. They recorded it, and it has now been labeled as a fact. It is a fact because it has this evidence to support it. Here's the data. This is my conclusion. Therefore, based on this data, this is why this conclusion is indeed the only conclusion that you can come to based off of this data that I have provided to you. And I'm recording it. So it has been recorded, signed, sealed, delivered, honey. And it is now considered a fact. You can look it up on the internet. You can read it in a book. You can find it in publications. You can do whatever. You can research and find that this fact is listed and that there's other people that share the same sentiment and the same facts. They agree with these facts because they agree with the data. They agree with the evidence. They accept it. They subscribe to it. They believe that it has to be true. Okay, great. It's a fact. That's how I understand a fact to be. Truth, to me, on the other hand, this is probably going to get a little esoteric, but truth, I think, is very relative. I think to call something the truth just because, for no other reason other than it is in print, for no other reason than somebody saying that it's a truth. It's a truth. Because somebody said that because of my own evidence and everything that I've done, and I put it in print, it's the truth. It's the truth because they called it the truth, right? Not necessarily because it is the truth. And you would say, well, Tiffany, what would you call it? If someone says, right, that carbs are horrible for you. They make you fat, they make you sluggish. They cause all these health problems. They contribute to the declining of your health. They do all these things, and carbs are just evil. Carbs are horrible. And you have to be in a deficit or get rid of them altogether in order to have a healthy body, in order to live long, and in order to have stamina, in order to have whatever, you have to eliminate or drastically reduce your carbohydrate intake, especially simple carbs, right? People will say that's a fact. I know people in my circle say that is a fact, and they do not deviate from that fact. It is a fact. They believe it to be true, right? They believe 100% that carbs are evil, and every time they have carbs, they feel an overwhelming sense of guilt, right? Because facts say that carbs, especially simple carbs, are horrible for you, and they do all these horrible things to the body, right? And the first thing that they say is, well, look at all the evidence. Look at all the documentation. Look at everything in print that shows that this is true. I used to be on that bandwagon until last year. I used to believe with every fiber of my being that carbs were horrible, that simple carbs were just the worst thing you could possibly do to your body, right? That didn't stop me from eating them. Okay, trust to believe that. But every time I did eat them, I did feel a sense of guilt. I felt guilty for wanting them. I felt guilty for enjoying the taste. I felt guilty for wanting to, indulge in carbs. I felt guilty for wanting ice cream and potato chips and pizza. And, I felt guilty for loving potatoes and salad. not salad. Well, I love salad too, but I didn't feel guilty about loving salad. I felt guilty about the croutons that I would have in salad. And I felt guilty about pasta salad. I felt guilty about eating pasta and rice, which I absolutely love white rice and I eat it like all the time. I felt so guilty about having bread and just, I felt so horrible. And yet it didn't stop me from eating them, except on the times when I went on these horrible diets to try to eliminate them. And I was miserable every single time. So I subscribed to that 100%. I 100% subscribed believing that carbs were horrible. Until last year, when I started my body transformation journey. I have a video about it, how I manifested weight release by changing my mindset. That's the name of the video. And, I talk about how I struggled horribly with the idea, with the facts that were presented to me saying how terrible carbohydrates were and how you shouldn't be eating them if you want to slim down and have your best body. You have to get rid of them, right? And I did. And you have diets, like Atkins diets and the Weight Watchers points diets. Bless, okay? This is no shade at all. Those programs work, right? They work. They helped a whole bunch of people. They've changed a bunch of people's lives. They absolutely work, right? They have their place. They have their value. They didn't have their place in my life because it didn't work for me, right? And factually, it should have. I never lost any weight by cutting out carbs. Real talk. I never lost any weight by doing a no carb diet or low carb diet. It didn't change my life. I didn't have this incredible body transformation. It didn't motivate me or inspire me in any capacity. I was just purely miserable for the whole time I was on those diets, whether it was a few weeks or for a few months. Did nothing for me. Within like a 3 or 4 month period of like no carbs, no sugar, I may have lost 1 or 2 pounds in half of an inch. You know what I mean? Very, very disheartening. And I was super depressed and I would quit. I hated the restriction because I was restricted a lot as a kid, you know what I mean? And I wasn't allowed to have sugar and stuff as a kid either. So it was just very triggering to me, just the trauma of being put on diets and all that. And it just did not work for me. Now, factually, it should have worked, right? You cut out carbs, you lose weight. That was the equation. That didn't work for me. So what do you do when the facts don't work? Or the facts are being challenged and you're getting different results? Okay, which is what I did. Last year, I talked about how I was invited to do this workout. I've been doing it now for 1.5 years. I work out 5 days a week. And, shout out to Extreme 28 Fitness. And I've never been so committed to a workout all my life, ever. Check out my video about inspiration versus motivation. I'm inspired 5 days a week, according to the schedule, to work out. And we have our week off, like we have our week off now, and they'll upload the new workout probably on Monday. But I just told myself, I tried dieting for 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks that I had started the workout last year. And I was like, this is not going to work for me. And I just said, you know what? Law of attraction says I can be, do, or have anything that I want. No exceptions. And I want to slim down and I want to have a healthy body without restriction. I don't want to have any restrictions on my diet. If I want pizza and tacos and popcorn and chips, I want to be able to enjoy that with no judgment, with no guilt, with no regret or resentment. I just want to be able to have them and enjoy them as part of my life experience here on earth. I like carbs, I like sugar, and I want to enjoy them. I love refined carbs. I love complex carbs. I love processed carbs. I love sugar, refined sugar, processed sugar. I love all of it, and I eat all of it. I eat fruits and vegetables too, because I do like fruits and vegetables and proteins and all of that. But I also like cookies and all the things that facts say you shouldn't be having. I have them. And I told the universe, I want to be able to enjoy these things. And I came asking it is given. I came across some videos of women who felt the same way that I did, and they changed their belief system. They changed the facts to make it their truth. Okay? And they just, it completely changed their lives. And I was like, this is my answer. And one lady, Juliette Cleary, who is amazing she has a great YouTube channel. She had said, stop calling junk food, because it has nothing to do with the food that you eat. Your weight has nothing to do with the actual food itself. It has everything to do what you believe to be true about the food that you are eating. Your belief about the food and what it can and cannot do for your body. That is what makes it do what it does to your body, positive or negative, right? I resonated with that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. This resonates with me. And I've been saying ever since May of 2020, when I started this journey, all food is good food. All food is good food. And everything I put in my body nourishes my body. That became my truth. Okay? Regardless of what the facts said you can't eat like this and slim down. My truth was I can eat like this and still slim down. And I can do it without restriction, without counting calories, without doing this and without doing that. I will eat until I'm full. I will enjoy what I have a taste for, period. And I will slim down. 30 pounds later, here we are. And all I do is work out 5 days a week. I drink a lot of water, which is something I never used to do. Inspired action. I drink 1 to 2 liters of water a day. Most days. I take apple cider vinegar because I'm inspired to do that. And I'm probably going to make me some nachos for dinner with all the fixings. Okay? And with the cheese, the sour cream, the lettuce, all of that. The other day I had 5 pieces of Popeye's fried chicken with some mac and cheese. Still slimming down. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I decided that this fact that's on a piece of paper, this is not going to apply to me. Because fact is not truth. That may be a fact, that carbs are horrible for you. That's a fact. And I can take it or leave it. I used to take it for several years. And I was miserable. Right? And every time I ate carbs, I gained more weight. Because I believed that carbs made me gain weight. I believed that fact. I don't subscribe to that fact anymore. I don't care how many researches are done with that. That doesn't apply to me. What does apply to me is that I can eat whatever the hell I want and still have my dream body because it's already happening. I've proven that those facts are just simply facts and they only apply to whoever subscribes to them. They are not truth. They are not my truth. They're somebody's truth because there's a whole lot of people that subscribe to that. And that's your truth. Bless you on your journey. I'm glad it works for you. I'm glad you're happy doing it. I'm glad it lines up with who you really are. I'm glad you are in vibrational alignment to that. I'm not. And that's fine too. I'm in vibrational alignment with I can eat whatever I want and indulge in whatever I want and still be healthy and still be slimming down. And that's exactly what's been happening. Over 30 pounds later, it's still happening. That is my truth. So facts are just words. It's not truth. Because someone could say, you can argue facts, right? You can argue facts. You can't argue truth. I can argue, we can debate over facts. You can say, well, here's facts to support how this thing is bad for you. Here's facts to support how it's good for you, because someone else on some other side of the world or other side of the country did the same exact experiments and research, came up with a different result, and they printed it and put it in circulation. So those are facts too. So facts are everywhere. For one argument, there's a rebuttal. For the same exact thing, you're going to find people who subscribe to the facts, and you're going to find people who oppose, and they subscribe to a different set of facts about the same exact topic. Some people say carbs are terrible. Here's evidence to support it. Some people say carbs are good. Here's evidence to support it. Some people, are talking about, I don't know, how medicine is horrible for you. And here's all the evidence to support how, medicine and vaccines and all that type of stuff is horrible for you. Here's all the things that it does. There's an exact amount of people who's talking about how great it is and all the benefits and everything, all the wonderful things that it's doing. They're all facts. What makes it truth? What you decide. Which side are you on? You get to choose. And your choice becomes the truth. Your choice becomes the truth, because everything on this planet is exactly what you define it to be. You define whether or not this bowl of rice is good for you or bad for you. You define if taking the vaccine is good for you or bad for you. You decide if dyeing your hair is good for you, is good for your image or bad for your image. You decide if a group of people are good or bad. You decide if a particular religion is good or bad. You decide. And whatever you decide, that is what materializes in your reality. That is the evidence that comes your way based on what you decide is true. Facts do not tell you the truth. It's just data. That's all it is. It becomes true once you've decided that this data is something that you're going to subscribe to. Then it becomes the truth. So, I feel like I was rambling. Hopefully this made sense to you all. And follow your truth. Don't let anybody else dictate what's true for you. Don't do it. I mean, I feel like I reiterate this a lot. You don't have to subscribe to anything that is not a vibrational match to you. And you don't have to, okay, really quick, because I'm already at 23 minutes, but you also don't have to subscribe to something that other people have subscribed to. I don't care if it's your husband, your wife, your mother, your children, your friends, your coworkers, auntie, grandma, your pastor, your imam, your rabbi, minister, whatever. You do not have to subscribe to something just because someone else, even someone else who you love and respect, has subscribed to it. You are your own person. They cannot live your life for you. You live your life. You can get their input, you can get their advice, you can get their perspective. At the end of the day, you must take the route that is conducive to you and what you feel is right, what makes sense to you. Don't let someone else project their fear of something because of facts onto you. Because let's be honest, how many times do the facts change anyway? Think about that. How many times has the same book, even religious doctrine, religious books, how many times do you open up the first page and it tells you what edition it is? When it was last revised, the revised version of even religious books, holy books, revised in, last revised in 2012. Last revised. Wait, what? What? How do you revise a holy book? What? I'm just saying, no disrespect. No disrespect. I say that with love. I just want to put things into perspective for you. You don't revise truth. Truth doesn't need revision, right? Truth doesn't need to be altered. The truth is never altered because there is no fear in truth, right? There was only awareness. So when I say truth is relative, I mean that truth is really, truly relative. It is an individual thing, and it is an individual journey to find your own truth. I had to find my own truth. It was scary. It was scary. When you have been indoctrinated, or when you have just been grown and cultivated to think in a very specific way about very specific things, and you're conditioned to believe what I talked about in my last video, that everyone and everything has a negative intention, it's hard to break out of that sometimes, but it is not impossible if you want to break out of it. So again, I hope this video brought some sense of awareness and upliftment and empowerment to you to know that the only truth out there is what you say the truth is, what you decide the truth is. Not something that you've read, not something that you've seen on television, not something that you see in the news, not something that you see on social media, not something that you've read in doctrines or documents, nothing. Not something that you read in history, none of that. They all may be facts, and bless, because some of the facts can be gut-wrenching facts. But it does not have to be your truth. You do not have to accept it as truth for you right now where you are, because only the present exists. Only now exists. Right now, that doesn't have to apply to you. You can make the choice to say, while there's a lot of noise about this thing, while a lot of people are scared about this thing, a lot of people don't want to do this because of things that happened in the past, or because of these experiments, or because of this document that was out, or because of this transcription that came out, or because of this, or because of that, because of this evidence, that evidence, this evidence, that evidence, this recording, that recording, this documentation, that documentation. And it's scary, and I don't know what to believe, because what if it's true? What if it's true? What if it's true? How about what if it's not true? What a crazy thought. What if everything that you've been fearing, everything that you've been believing to be a fact, what if it's not true though? What if everything you've believed to be true is just not true? What if it's not true? What if it's not the only truth? Which we know that there is really no such thing as the only truth, because the only truth is whatever is true to you. That is the only truth. It is your truth. My truth is not your truth. And yet, we're both right. Both of our truths are valid. Both of our truths are right. Right? So, food for thought. But I bless you guys. Thank you for coming to my channel. I love you all. Like, share, subscribe. Again, everything that I say is from my own perspective, and it's all said with love. No disrespect, no shade, no nothing. If anything I said was triggering, or maybe if you felt offended or disrespected or anything, I apologize. Not my intention in any capacity. Just trying to create perspective and just have an open dialogue with you all. And I love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. And you all have a fantastic, fantastic day or night.